ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of week. Unscripted with the crack man, Bill Krackomberger. And it goes a little something like this. Ooh, we got the remix. I like this part at the end where it just keeps going. Got your keys going. What's happening, Bill?
Hey, what's going on? Just had a nice conversation with Brian Musburger.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, no, you're going to be working here for at least another 3 months. Yeah.
Stop.
I'm just saying, it's good. People don't have 3 months job security.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
That was a really nice conversation. I just texted him, actually. Got his phone number and texted him.
Okay.
And,
is this one of those things you shouldn't be talking about on air?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just a nice conversation.
Okay.
It feels nice to be appreciated.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. He loves you.
Yeah, he obviously does.
Yes.
I didn't know. I never really talked to him. Maybe twice in my life, like a couple-minute conversations in the sports book.
You're a guy who likes to know that you are loved. As we all do.
I may have a problem. You know, it's nice to be liked, though.
Yes, it is. Of course it is. For people who say they don't.
It's our parents.
Yeah.
You know, most people say, oh, I don't care what people think about me. You know, like...
You care.
You get raised by your parents to be nice to people and treat people like you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be... It's nice to be nice to people, too.
So you're feeling good right
now.
now.
Nice to people. Feeling pretty good. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good until I get onto my subjects today.
Oh, no.
I'm going to start ripping things apart.
All right. Well,
and you know what?
What?
I love that Brian said, go for it. We love that.
Yes.
You know, usually...
Why do you think you're here, Bill?
Yeah.
We love this.
But I'd say, like I said to Brian, listen, you know, I go after stations a lot. But I tell you what, stations has great restaurants. So I think that I'll talk great about their restaurants at Red Rock and Durango.
What is your favorite station's restaurant of all? Oh, Red Rock. So that adds a lot of restaurants to it.
Oh, sure.
By the way, the classic station's place is at Palace Station, the Oyster Bar.
You know, it's funny you saying that.
Yeah.
So I watch a great podcast every week. You know, I give other people credit, too. The great Anthony Curtis's podcast, and I'm sorry I don't know the name of it, but Anthony Curtis has a Las Vegas Advisor, I think it's under. So,
who gives out great advice.
Great advice.
Yes.
Let me tell you, if there's one gambling podcast you should watch every week, Anthony Curtis's...
the Beating the Book podcast, Megapod.
Of course,
Oh,
Megapod.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Las Vegas Advisor. This is more not for sports gambling. It's more for casino gambling and what's going on in our...
Gambling with an edge.
Gambling like that. That was a great show, too, that was on it once. I think it's coming back, actually.
But that's the name of his podcast.
Oh, it is?
I believe,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to have to look because it's funny. I was just listening to it in the car.
Little birdie fed that in my ear to me.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another one called Miles to Memories. And I'm sorry, I don't know the kids. I say kids, they're probably my age, one of them. But that host it. They're fantastic. Miles to Memories is that's my two podcasts I watch every week. It's called Las Vegas Advisor. Yeah. Las Vegas Advisor is live. Las Vegas Advisor.
Okay.
That's what it's under. It's under LVA.
Kelley just said in my ear. He goes, "My bad."
Oh, yeah, it's under LVA. That's okay.
You know what he's doing? He's providing me wrong information just to see if I can edit properly. Yeah.
So they're just two podcasts you should listen to every week, and Miles to Memories and Las Vegas Advisor, just to teach you things about that's going on. And they're, by the way, they're usually short. He did a live this week. They're usually short. He mentioned the Oyster Bar at Palace Station, which I've never been to.
Oh.
Now, why?
Classic.
Why have I never been there? You tell me.
I'll tell you why you've never been there. Because there's 14 chairs.
That's it.
And,
you hit it right on the head.
And you are liable at certain times. I don't know if it's still like this, but once upon a time back in the day, you're liable to wait there for hours.
That's the reason why.
And when I say hours with an S, I'm talking about like 3 sometimes.
Yes.
Which at a certain point in your life, you cut off that kind of that experience.
Anything an hour is just too much even.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it today, but when I was younger, I did.
Yeah. But they have the greatest, supposedly, clam chowder, which I love. I love the New England clam chowder. I never had it there.
I should shout out Marco D'Angelo, who was the person who introduced me to the Oyster Bar at Palace Station. They have first of all, they have like they have jambalaya. They have obviously gumbo. It's the pan. What is the one that everybody gets? The pan roast. That's what everybody gets. Yeah.
Yeah. And do they do like the dollar oysters and I think Anthony just said something.
They do crab meat and
like
oysters.
Dollar oysters and dollar clams.
It's insane. And the guy who's behind the counter is like he was there when Babe Ruth was at bat for the Yankees. Yeah, you know.
Wow. Yeah, really cool. But so he just mentioned that on the show. I just listened to it. But Let's start out with Resorts World.
Okay.
Resorts World tapped a buddy on his shoulder Sunday at 4 a.m. Said, listen, if you're going to be checking machines, we're going to have to throw you out. So Resorts World has joined the MGM properties by stopping advantage players from playing the bonus machines. So if the machine's in a bonus mode or close to a positive EV, or if it's positive EV, they want you, you're allowed to play them, but as long as you're a regular gambler and start playing everything else. So Resorts World joining that list of people, of casinos that are stopping advantage players, and he was tapped on his shoulder. I was surprised, that they actually did that, because most of these people
at 4 a.m. it's not really blending in, I guess.
That's what it was too. He said that.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, and people out there know what I'm talking about. They're going to lose the money back gambling anyway. They're just gamblers. It's a certain class of gamble. They're just going to fire and lose it somewhere else. So I'm surprised they would even do that. Now let's go to this.
Sean Higgs has a tweet. He says, "Our guy Bill Krackomberger has a love language. It is words of affirmation."
Oh,
you familiar with love languages? There's like 8 or 9 of them.
I know affirmation.
Yeah, words of affirmation is your love language. He said.
My man.
Sorry about that.
My man. No, that's nice. Why do someone asked me this on a show, and it's a great question. He said, why is it that most people, and I say most, it's like 99% more, you believe it or not, why do they lose betting sports? Someone asked me that a live question, and I spontaneously answered, I think, the right answer.
I think I know what you're going to answer.
I think most people try to make a grand of sand into a beach. I think they're all... I want to tell you something, Gill. Every time I go to the counter, which I'm betting a lot on apps, I'm watching everyone bet parlays.
Parlays. Biggest reason.
That's what I think that's the reason why they lose. I think they... And I'm gonna blame some of the companies out there,
of course,
for posting those $10 tickets to win $20,000.
That is why if you listen to a numbers game for 7.5, 8 years, however long we've been on, you can count on one hand, not even, maybe one finger.
Very good.
Or 2 fingers, the number of times I've ever mentioned someone winning something like that, because I agree with you wholeheartedly. It is simply it's a ruse to get people to behave that way. Because the human brain is wired and is such that, bet a little to make a lot. It's the lottery, right? That's why people play the lottery. I don't have to bet anything to make tons of money. This is great, right? When it's really the most exploitive thing to the lower economic demographic there is in this country, right?
That's right.
This is the sports betting equivalent of that.
Absolutely perfect. If they wrote every parlay down and didn't physically give the money in, and wrote it down at the end of the year, they would say, "No way, I bet that. There's no way I lost that much money betting parlay." Right. That's how much money they lose chasing. It's the same reason why people go to the crap table and play. There's a game up there now at most crap tables called high low or something. It's every number will come out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you can bet all those numbers and you get 176 to 1 or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm not saying the exact number. It's the same reason people play that or play high low, aces and midnight and 12. They want to turn $1 into 30.
Yeah.
When the real odds are 36 to 1.
It also dovetails nicely to something with sports betting too. Another reason why people lose is they only play at one place, right? They only have one out. But if they had, let's say they had 2. And they played everything they were parlaying as straights, and then in the other account they were playing them as parlays, they would see, right? They would say, even let's say they were successful. Let's say those straights were hitting at a good rate. Over time, you literally could be up 50 grand in one spot and down 50 grand in the other, based on that behavior.
It's so true. And the beginning of this, you said 1 out. Yeah. That is very, very important.
Yes.
I know it doesn't seem like, I always tell people if they come to Vegas, you have to, if you're serious, you have to fund a couple accounts. Fund stations, fund Boyd, fund the Win. There's 3 places that I can guarantee you'll get half a points on lines where you won't at a lot of the other ones.
Bill Krackomberger, just vomiting out nuggets for you right here. Unscripted on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Coming back. Agree I can't even, there's so many zeros, I can't even tell you what it is. But he says, I agree 1,000,000%, I believe is what it comes out to, that these social media posts from these big companies with these massive parlay tickets is ruining the middle and lower class financially. Appreciate you always been with you since 2020, shelter in place days. Oh, he's been with us since the pandemic. So appreciate that, JC. I don't want to Ron Burgundy through some of these. Oh, here's one. This is from Shades of Mako. Says, Bill, you probably don't want to talk about this too much, but is there a future direction for advantage machine play? Slot manufacturers are continuing to make more and more bonus machines. Saw 2 new ones last weekend.
Yeah, they're not discouraging it. Great question, by the way. They're not discouraging the bonus machines, and the not only the manufacturers, the casinos are allowing them in there. So, I think there's going to be more and more. Matter of fact, going back to Anthony Curtis, they have a book coming out by the end of the year, in the next 2 months, on the advantage machines, what they are, how to play them. I know Michael Shackelford on his site, which I forget right now, but Michael Shackelford's Wizard of Odds. Wizard of Odds.
Oh, Wizard of Odds is great.
He also has a whole section on his for free. By the way, you can just go to their website. And they have a whole section on advantage machines, and he's talked about them. Recently, he's actually talked about the Ultimate X machines. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's a video poker machine that if you get a certain hand, like a 2-pair or 3 of a kind, I think it's 3 of a kind and up, and then you have like a full house. Well, the next hand pays 12 to 1 or 10 to 1, depending on what the hand is. So now people just leave them sometimes. They have to go, so they'll leave it at. Next hand pays 2 to 1, 4 to 1, 6 to 1. That's something that you should jump on and play. Whole section on that also on Michael Shackelford's site.
Like it.
Yeah.
Charlie D, USA #1. Doesn't get any better than Thursdays with Gill and Bill. Thank you for all the great information. I catch myself so many times and hear your voices saying, are you really doing this? Appreciate it very much. And Mike Zills, Duke 90, saying, a hot sophomore from my North Jersey high school, smart too, eventually went to UPenn. Used to party a lot in the city, 1983-84. Paul Schaefer would hit on her. Paul is a dog. Brought up Paul Schaefer earlier. That's why we...
Paul Schaefer's still alive?
I think so, yeah. Paul's still signing autographs, yeah.
Yeah, chasing girls.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently he's got game, I think.
Gill, Kelley popped in here during the break.
He did.
And he said, people like my buddies and stuff, they have fun. They don't care about losing on parlays. I think they would care if they seen how much cumulatively they lost on parlays.
Such a great point.
Because, all right, let me get the $10 8-teamer. I have a guy that you've met him once, and I'm not going to embarrass him. He makes a lot of money, and he's involved with the Fox Nationwide show I do on the weekends. So he, all the stuff I talk about, advantage gambling, advantage, not only machines and stuff, I talk about that also on the show sometimes, but all this advantage sports betting. Yet this week he shocked me, and we have a group chat, and said, "Hey, I bet this 10-teamer, and if I just missed if I just won one more, I would have won 6 figures, but he still won 15,000."
How many times have you heard that one? If I just hit this one leg,
I was very, very surprised. Someone in our group chat from Fox Sports Radio would even admit to betting after all these years. This is years now.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
This calls to mind the Chrissy Andrew story, my mishpucha. This is one of the story times that he told famously on the Beating the Book podcast, which, by the way, is Chris Felico on the Megapod today. But Chrissy used to do story time, and I think he put this in his first book, Then One Day. Also, it's just the sort of gambling parable of a guy who walks up, oh my God, I just missed out on if I had only hit this leg. It was an 18 parlay. It was the first leg, and he lost that one, right? So he's like, his reaction is the same way. It's like, oh, I just missed. If I only hit this leg.
Wow.
That's such a great point, though, because, again, we do a show. And so we take this stuff seriously in our day-to-day lives. It's in our DNA. We do this 24/7. We're betting all the time. And we have to always remind ourselves that most people, maybe not on this show, but most people, who come to Vegas are just coming for entertainment, right? They're just coming for that weekend with their buddies.
Very good point.
And so maybe, right, like they could listen and be like, you guys are taking it too seriously. We're just here. Because most people come, I have $400, pick a number, whatever it is. I am prepared and I am willing to lose $400, whatever the number is for whatever individual. Maybe it's $1,000, maybe it's $100. But I think your point is right. If there was actually someone by their side, let's say they had a CPA next to them the entire time they were doing it, or some guy was logging all the bets. And then after all these years coming, if they actually presented with that itemized sheet, they would be like, "Oh dear God!"
A gambling intern to walk around with you.
A gambling intern.
And like I had my buddy from Scranton, Pennsylvania. His son was going to Temple and came out here, and he stayed with me for a month, and I've known him since he was a little kid. And he, without me knowing, I think I mentioned in the show, he was putting notes down. This is literally writing notes. I didn't even catch it. And at the end of the trip, he showed me. He goes, "I just want to let you know." He calls me Burger. He goes, "Just want to let you know, Burger. Yeah, spent $3,200 on tips this month." I said, "What?" I said, "Well, you were here with me." And I said, "Wait a minute, hold it, Sean."
Wait a minute.
I said, "What do you mean $3,200 on tips?" Well, let me see this thing. He said, "Yeah, and he didn't realize some of the bills I was paying with the whole bill. He's a college kid."
I have to rewind. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
You had a guy.
Yeah, Sean. I'm gonna embarrass you, Sean. Sorry.
Okay. Sean.
Yeah.
Does Sean still hang with you?
No. Sean now is I'm really embarrassed you. Sean now is a multi-millionaire.
I bet he is.
Unbelievable.
So wait, Sean
he's around 35 now, maybe 38 now.
Okay, wait. So you became friends with a guy named Sean.
Yeah. Well, I became friends with a guy in Scranton, my friend Bumper.
Okay, Bumper. Sure.
Bumper. Can't give a real name.
Yeah,
I got to give Bumper. That's his nickname.
Bumper.
He got that name. You know why?
Why?
As a kid, he was always like bumping into people, bumping into things, and yeah. So anyway, yeah. So
my friend Juan has a problem with that. If you walk side by side with him, he can't walk a straight line.
Walk a straight line.
It drives me crazy.
Do you say something to him like
after
what are you doing?
After the third time he pins me against the lamppost, I'm like, "Yeah, hey, Juan.
I know what this is. That's why I'm laughing.
Could you walk a straight line, please?" Sorry.
I've seen that. But yeah, so his son, I've known his family for 35 years.
Yeah.
And I used to know him since he was a little kid. Matter of fact, I actually babysitted him in Atlantic City once. But him and his brother. But yeah, he came out to Vegas with me, and I thought he was going to stay for a week. He stayed for a month. And literally, we were at the Golden Nugget, top floor, 18th floor at the Golden Nugget, in a big, beautiful Sinatra suite there. Yeah. It's called the Chairman's Chamber. It's where Frank and his son stayed when they performed there. And, we were getting free meals everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're tipping and plus I liked the guys at the Nugget. I was always tipping the valet guy, the door guy, the girl at the host desk, VIP. It was VIP services. And here's Sean is keeping track of me. I had no idea.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask. Did you ask him to do this?
No.
How old was he when he just took it upon himself?
20
years old.
He was going to Temple, so he was 20. Yeah, without doing
Temple
it.
University.
Temple University.
As opposed to Temple
as opposed to Temple, yeah.
Okay, so he went... He took it upon himself at the age of 20 to track all of your tips.
Yes.
Let me just tell you something.
Yeah.
Everyone on earth should have this luxury. If you had a guy, by the way, it would get so annoying, but if you had a guy tracking you, specifically like people like you in Vegas who are just spending money haphazardly with tips because you're very generous about it. The fact that he would, and then he had the onions to say to you, "Hey,"
at the end of the trip,
"Hey, that's $3,200 in tips."
Well, it's normally I don't spend that kind of money on tips, but maybe I do. I don't even know. But you understand, it was limo service, so we went everywhere under limos. And I love the limo guys at the Nugget. Yeah. They never got less than $50,
Right.
So, we went to In-N-Out Burger, and he's like, "Wow, this is great. You can go to In-N-Out Burger by limo." I was trying to impress the kid and make him have a good time. Something he'll always remember, and he does.
Gambling intern. That's such a great phrase.
Gambling intern. Yeah. So anyway, that will be an interesting situation when they see all this video.
I'm telling you, there's some people who are listening right now who are thinking to themselves, "I would employ someone to be my gambling intern."
For the parlays, though, not for us. For others, it's not you. You actually said it. It's smart to have someone like with you or something. But I'll tell you what, for living in a town like Vegas, we're not living in Norman, Oklahoma or whatever. I'm not trying to say that that's a quieter area where there's not so much action.
Yeah.
We're in action every day.
Yep.
I'm in action every day.
Every day.
Every day I have some kind of action. So I'm tipping someone every day.
In fact, 365 days a year, I would say 362 of them, there's action.
Yeah.
Because you remember the days where there isn't, and you view them as peculiar.
My buddy who passed away during COVID in South Philly, my buddy Doc, he said to me, "You don't realize every single day you get up, you're living a dream life." Now, this is one of those old grifters from South Philly. He's like, every day you get up, it's nothing but gambling, watching games, and eating. He said, "This is unbelievable, your life."
And your
They don't know
response?
how much stress. You don't know how much stress is involved with all these things.
I'm sure he was like, "Cry me a river, crack," or burger, or whatever he called
Yeah.
it. Bumper and Burger
Right.
getting on the show today. More with the Crackman. On the other side, Bill Krackomberger, at Bill Crackman with a K. Name of the podcast is Wise Cracks, right here on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. College basketball tips off November 4th, 11 days from now. Now's the time to get your copy of our annual betting guide. This year's guide includes Matt Humans' top 50 rankings. No one loves college basketball more than Matt Humans. Goes to the Maui Invitational to whet his appetite early in the season as well. All 32 conferences previewed, Wooden Award candidates, futures, and season-long prop bets, plus every major conference team betting nuggets from Greg Hoops Peterson. Only way to get the guide is to become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Sign up now for just $120. Get VSiN Pro access to everything we do until May 1st. That's all college basketball season long, March Madness and beyond for less than $20 a month. Sign up today at vsin.com/subscribe. Really a labor of love. And Zach Cohen was on earlier talking about how many people are involved. And it is just a full court press, no pun intended, maybe pun intended, of VSiN college basketball experts chiming in. So check that out again, vsin.com/subscribe. It's Gill Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. This is from, from Robert at RobertsB01. He says, no, parlays are great, and if I can hit a couple, I will almost be even. Oi, he says. Oi. Bobby Knuckles has chimed in. He said, should sportsbooks start passing out shirts that say I missed my parlay by one leg with every parlay place? They really should. This is for you, Billy, NJD107_. He says, I just checked because I wanted to follow, and I'm blocked by the Crackman on X. I've never even interacted with him. Help me out.
You know, I had a guy when I first opened up.
He was blocking everybody, wasn't he?
Boy, he blocked so many people.
Yeah.
He's like, there's the political things. You have to block this. You have to block this. Like, so I'm going to make sure that. What's his name?
That would be
NJD.
Yeah, 107.
My man.
Charlie D. I've been given the terrible nickname to the Sharps, LOL, of Charlie Parlay. But truth be told, 1% of my betting is a parlay. Something I'll do when I'm off to a good start for fun, hit a few, and I'm stuck with this label. Patrick McDonald, Kramer and Seinfeld, intern, Kramerica. Talking about sidekick.
Love that.
Oh, you'll love this one. New York Mess 16, a new VSiN documentary where they follow Crackman and Fezzik around for a month. It's called The Tipper and the Coupon.
I gotta be, I guess they're calling Fezzik Coupon. I want to be honest with you. He's one of the most generous guys I know.
He is.
I've been going to breakfast with him every Friday morning after your show with him.
Yes.
And he fights me to buy. He over tips. When we go to the counter here, we did a simple transaction at the counter here at Circa. Mm-hmm. It was a simple transaction from my account to his account. And he took out a large bill and gave it to them. All they do is press buttons. There's no financial money going back and forth. He's a very generous guy.
Yeah, no, he is. But when it comes to the books themselves, he is also the guy. The man is a walking paradox, right? We always talk about how in real life he's one thing, on Twitter he's a completely different human being.
Yeah, he brings on a lot of things.
He's a horrific human being on Twitter. I tell that to him on the show. But in real life, you're right. He is generous there. But when it comes to the book, or the point system that some of these casino resorts have, he will spend 10 hours trying to get a $10 advantage.
Yes, no, he does. He'll send me literally paragraph after paragraph of being in Caesars and how to obtain seven-star status. Where I say, here in Nevada, unlike New Jersey, I don't think it's worth all of that compared to New Jersey, where they have the free lounges. Harris, you order off a beautiful menu. You can have as much steak and filet mignon as you want. I mean, really nice. Wow. They're gonna end that eventually.
Remember when I said that about it here? I was like, because they used to give the round trip to Atlantic City not Atlantic City, pardon me, to Atlantis in the Bahamas.
Oh yeah, do they do that anymore?
I don't know that they do, but remember at the time I said, we're gonna look back on this as remember when they used to do that?
Yeah, they used to give you the round trip. Now they still give you a trip, and they still give you up to. I think it's a $1,200 airfare credit once a year, but I don't want to lose a lot of money to do that. So you go on bonus days where they have 10-time points, or or 10 times tier points, or maybe even more. Atlantic City might even have more at certain times. So I understand.
takes advantage of all that stuff.
He does.
He sniffs an edge anywhere in town. He will find it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, he does.
Jeff Isaacs, this is well put, Jeff. People will parlay no matter what. For example, on a 3-teamer, I tell anyone, take all your parlay legs straight, then bet 1/3 the amount on the parlay, track the results for a month, and you will see your errors. You really will.
Yeah,
But how many people, that's the thing, what percentage of people, Jeff, and I think that's great advice, Jeff Isaacs, but what percentage of people hear this and go, that sounds pretty good, and then actually follow through on that?
Right.
Less than 5%.
I would say on this show, this isn't a very astute listening and watching audience.
It's higher than the normal.
They're
yes.
not parlaying anyway, I wouldn't think.
I think,
it's fun to parlay.
Probably,
maybe you're right. The more I say that, the more I think about it. Maybe you're right.
I think even the smartest bettors, right, still throw in one here and there.
Listen, I talk about it against it on all shows. There are ways that pros can use parlays. They don't particularly like what someone like me or Fez or someone will do, because we're going to bet round robin by 2s and 3s or something like that overnight, where we know tomorrow the implied odds is going to be a better odds. So if let's say 3 basketball teams, I'm laying -2 on all 3. Tomorrow they're going to be -3 or -4. Well, then obviously I have an edge betting that parlay.
Right.
I don't even like to even talk about that. I wouldn't do it unless I was on this show, because people will say, "Oh, I'll try to do that. I'll try to guess the line."
Right.
No, this is not a guess. This is like guaranteed. It's
At the moment, it's not a good parlay, but you know that move forward some hours or the next day.
It's also used to, sportsbooks aren't going to like it, to circumvent limits. So if I can bet $500 on an overnight line, but I can bet till the cows come home on overnight round robins where it's a parlay, and they say, this sucker's just betting parlays. They don't even catch that. But
like on a kiosk you're talking about, for instance?
No, at the counter you could do it
too.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't even be talking about that.
Okay.
Basketball season coming up, sorry.
No, that's all right. By the way, speaking of that, you have traditionally, in all the years we've been doing this, and Billy, you and I have been doing this for almost 8 years now.
Unbelievable.
You have always said, when I ask you the question, what is the sport, what is the time of year in that sport that you traditionally do the best in? Your answer has always been the beginning of college basketball season.
The start of college basketball. But the last couple seasons,
not so much.
No, I mean, the last couple seasons, I just have, destroyed other things. So to me, like last year, college football was unbelievable. This year, NFL props are hitting at a rate where it has to return to the mean sooner or later. I mean, it's that stupid. So NFL straight bets, which I'll tell you, I'm really always against them. I've been against them for all the years we've done this show and talked about how hard they are to beat. Why would I push something that has a 0.5% edge rather than push something that has let's just say a 5% edge? That's where I want to put my money, but I can't put it in bulk like I could on the 0.5% edge. Perfect example. I go to this counter down there right now and bet on tonight's game, the Ram game tonight. Whatever you can pour out on the counter, probably going to take on the side.
Yeah.
On a prop, they're going to give me $1, which is I'm happy to get the $1. But that goes to show you how that's not a two-way market so much as a game that's on every network reviewed. Everyone's talking about the NFL. However, the people have spoken. They want NFL plays from me. Mm-hmm. So I'll give out NFL sides here and there. And I still, if I wouldn't do it unless I had an edge. So I'll give out a game where I like. If I think the Washington team, I know the line bounced back a little bit yesterday. I'll look now what it is, but I actually took 3 on this game at South Point, and it looks like I'm going to be able to take 3 again. Some group, and I usually know who the group is. One of the groups came out yesterday, and they took Chicago, and that's the reason why the NFL is so hard to beat.
Jaden Daniels uncertain is the word.
I know
for
he's
this
uncertain.
Game. Yeah.
Yep. But you'll have 2 different groups on 2 different sides. Yeah, DraftKings is 3 on this game now. Mm-hmm. So you'll have 2 different groups on 2 different sides of the games. And I always would like to know what the other sharp group is seeing that we don't see, that me and my group doesn't see. Because I hate when another professional bettor that makes money, like we do, in the long run, is on the opposite side. And most people wouldn't care.
Gives you pause.
Billy Walters wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like Billy, he wouldn't care. He's like, Crack, I don't care. I want to know what our guys are on. That's it. Michael Kent was his handicapper for years before he passed. And he just didn't care. He said, Michael's the best, and that's it. Well, I think there are some groups out there I really respect, and I want to know what they're on. But
I just want to point out something before we go to commercial, because I don't want to skim over every little thing. Crack had a little nugget in there, which I think is about as big a tell as anything, which is you just talked about. They'll take however amount of money they'll take on an NFL game.
$1 million.
Just got a new out this past week or the week before last. Immediately went to bet tennis, $300 limit. Right. If you go to play football, hey, what do you give me? Right, kind of thing. That alone, right, that's the book telling you. We know what you can beat if you're good.
Right.
We know what you can't over the long haul, even if you think you're good, kind of thing. And so just keep that in mind if you're a newish bettor, right?
And there's tennis proposition bets. I don't know if you get into them, but there's tennis proposition bets too. I would think they're probably petrified of them because they don't get two-way markets and two-way bet on that.
Yeah.
But even the tennis matches, you bet some smaller markets. You don't bet the main ones all the time.
Right.
You're betting smaller markets where they're just copying a line off someone. They don't have a tennis handicapper back there.
Yep.
So they use guys like you to shape the market for the tennis.
Yes, they do.
There you go.
Tennis, just one example, talking about football versus others, but that should tell, newish bettors what bookmakers are fearful of and what they are not fearful of. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up with Crackman Bill Krackomberger right here on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Tom Collins, another great appearance by Bill. Thank you both for sharing information. Thank you, Tom, for listening. Todd Bubba Horowitz, our guy Bubba, said, Fez is the prudent gambler investor. What would you expect from a Northwestern-educated actuary? Great guy, but won't give up the edge. Oh, that last part's true. That last part is true. For sure he won't. I'm telling you, if he sniffs it anywhere in the valley, he's like, what's that sniff? What's that smell? Let's go there.
A perfect example of that real quick is Fez told me 2 days ago, I can literally show you where he says, I'm pretty much AWOL this week until Thursday. So I said, okay, there's no big deal because we talk almost every day.
Yeah.
The next day, he gave me fire and 4 different plays he likes. Like he said he was off till Thursday.
Who's he kidding?
Gave me 4 plays yesterday.
Where do you think he's going? This is from the Real Knicks. I think Bill should hire one of Vegas's finest ladies of the night as his intern. I cannot mention what he would call them. Brandon Kiles, is there a point where parlays become a good bet with these boosts being offered, typically 25 to 50%? I, for one, am a sucker for those. Brandon, we made this point last week that even with those boosts in quotes, check the math. Sometimes the boost you think you're getting ain't really a boost at all.
That's right.
Or is less than the boost that they are portraying it to be.
Now, sometimes they'll make a mistake the opposite way, but it's pretty rare. Usually someone will catch it, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's one of the subjects there.
Before we continue, Bill,
go ahead.
It's time for this week's, not this week's, but today's, we do this every day, G-Bank Plays of the Day, the bets of the day, brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. And there was many again on the show today, and we appreciate all the feedback. By the way, for me, again, I am on the Dodgers at minus 124 for the series. There's my other Dodgers bets, 4-1 exact result at 6-1. Teoscar Hernandez for MVP at 24-1, also on Mookie, 9-1 for MVP. As far as like guessing lines, NFL plays, I'm on Seattle +3. That was the one that Kelley and I were on opposite sides of. He's got Buffalo -3. I couldn't believe that the Bills were 3-point favorites. I have the Seahawks +3. Again, heading into the Megapod after the show today with Chris Felica, our guest. Kelley's bets, he's on Teoscar as well for MVP in the World Series at 25-1, and he backed up what Mark Borchard was given yesterday. He took Shohei to lead the World Series in stolen bases at +225. So Kelley riding Mark Borchard's coattails. And then Zach Cohen joins us to give us a tennis play, which I think is starting in an hour and a half or so. You know how tennis goes. Those starting times could move. Brandon Nakashima over Karen Khachanov. He's got Nakashima as the slight dog at +120. Tonight he's on the T-Wolves on the money line, and in Monday Night Football, he is on the Rams +3 tonight, hosting the Vikings. A lot of Rams love tonight. And then on Sunday, he's got the Ravens-Browns over 44.5. The Ravens-Brown over. Oh, and not to be left behind, of course, Dallin Cuff was kind enough to join us on the show today. He's got Arsenal-Liverpool under. He's got the Arsenal-Liverpool under in the Premier League, in the Prem, under 2.5. That was from Dallin earlier on the show today. Best Bets brought to you by GBank, the official bank of VSiN. The GBank Visa Signature Card is your best bet, delivering 1% cashback rewards on eligible gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all other eligible transactions. For more information, head to vsin.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank, subject credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Back with the crack man, Bill Krackomberger. Anything else on your mind before we go? Yeah.
Yes. So my podcast every week is with John Orlando. However, throughout the football season, Randy McKay has joined us for the entire podcast yesterday. And
on Wisecracks?
Yes, on Wisecracks. You can find that on YouTube at Crack Wins with a K, or you could find it on Spotify under Action Junkies. And it's just Randy gives us three or four games every week. He gave us 3 games this week, NFL sides, and he also gives us some teasers every week. So Randy is.
How's he doing in contests this year?
I don't really know how I know I'm actually, because I did savers with Fez and with Randy, and I'm 24-11, I think, in one of them.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's at the Westgate. I think it's 23-11, 24, and over here too, almost the same. Let me tell you something. That doesn't get you anything, though.
No.
Imagine that doesn't get you anything.
Yeah.
So
Kelley is
24 out of 35.
Kelley's 12-3 in the quarter, and he's pushing the rock up the hill.
Yeah,
at
12-3. You got to go 5-5. Now there's one more. Is there one more?
There's 2 more weeks for this quarter. We were saying if he goes
9-1.
Well, that's what we were saying. We say if he goes 10-0, will he be in it? We think yes.
10-0, yes.
22-3.
Well,
if he goes 9-1,
no, 10-0, he's going to win it by himself. Maybe, even though there's a lot of entries, though. There's an exextra quarter here. It sounds like there's 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
I would think that 22 wins gets you a share.
9-1. If he goes 21-4, what then? Does he win it?
He doesn't win it probably.
No. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. Sorry about your
21-4.
Yeah, sorry about your 21-4.
Yeah. You may get a peanut.
Yeah.
You get a little something.
At least you're set up well for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah. So enjoy. Watch the podcast. Randy's a fountain of information. I'm going to give you guys all a little freebie here that I heard on Anthony Curtis's show.
Freebie.
This is a good one. This is a really good one. So that progressive money that these casinos have to give away before they close the door, like we've seen at the Mirage. So they have to give that away in drawings or something. Silver Sevens is changing over to the Continental again. So Silver Sevens is going backwards. The old Continental.
Remember, it used to be Terribles?
It was Terribles. Yeah, that's right. Terribles. Which I was, by the way, thrown out of. Walked to the door.
You were walked to the door at Terribles?
Only at Terribles, yeah. That's the only casino. Yeah, they told me I wouldn't. I wouldn't give my name. I was at a blackjack table with a friend of mine, and I wouldn't give my name, and they threw me out.
Did they say
this was
when they
20 years ago?
When they walk you out of there, like, you're particularly terrible, so you have to go?
That's right.
What is it now? Intercontinental?
No, it's going to get knocked. It used to be the Continental 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's going to be called the Continental again.
Okay.
They're going back to that. But they have this progressive meter that's up to $90,000, and they're taking the money out of there. I think they took it out already, and they're going to round it up to $100,000, and they're going to give that away in the form of a free blackjack contest.
Oh,
a free blackjack tournament. So I was like, wow, that's pretty good. So they're going to give the $100,000 away. What they're doing is, from November 1st to the 15th, every Thursday and Friday, you can go and enter to get into they're going to draw 36 names, I think, each night. There's 180 people altogether in the tournament. So it's free. You don't have to even play anything. You go in, give your card, they're going to get, I think it's a paper ticket. Now I'm going to go a little bit further. If you have a paper ticket, what I want you to do is like what I did with this cough drop wrapper. I want you to fold it up and to crumble it up and then reopen it up with all those little crinks and cripples and the little ripples in there, and now throw your entry in. And that sounds weird.
Oh.
But someone that puts their hand in that barrel.
This is like your...
rather than a flat ticket.
This is like your credit card roulette routine.
It is.
Same concept.
Oh, people love that, actually, the hotel.
Yeah.
But this is how I won 2 cars in Atlantic City. I won his and her BMWs.
So you're saying just because it'll have a different texture to it, they're more likely
to pick that than a flat thing. So anyway, that's just that's a little. If they do, I think they're doing a paper. Usually they do electronic drawings now all over, but I think they're doing a paper drawing there. But that's a free. Every week you learn little things here, little.
Yeah.
And the advantage players are killing me right now. What are you doing? Telling them.
Yeah. You gonna try to play in this thing?
If I'm allowed in.
If you're allowed in.
Oh,
that's
checked.
right. You got
walked out of there. It's a total different. Terribles I'm not allowed in.
So
Terrible.
we're
so I
talking.
won't give none of the Terrible's gas stations any money either. My wife knows too. You're not allowed to go to Terrible. Run out of gas.
Oh yeah, it's gas stations all over the place.
Refuse to go to Terrible's because of that.
Because of that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have walked me out 20 years ago. I'm not
20 years ago.
Using your gas.
So anyway.
By the way, that's Silver Sevens on Paradise there.
It's on Paradise.
Yeah.
A little bucket of blood over there.
A little bucket of blood.
Yeah, it's the crowd there could be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Just a little bit tougher. Just keep your head on the swivel, like we always say. You go.
Right.
I mean, you have to keep your head on the swivel almost everywhere around town now.
Uh-huh.
But it's a great free thing. They're taking the money and giving it and rounding it up to 100,000, giving it away free in a blackjack tournament. I thought it was fantastic. Last thing I want to get into,
yes, sir,
real quick. Do you remember the entity betting?
Yes.
That we had in town?
Yes, I sure do.
I think we even may have called it. I thought it was a scam from the beginning. I got yelled at from a lot of people. Oh, no, this is really good. We can all invest in it. I said, well, you're playing against one sports book. That went away and no one talked about it. It was a total scam.
Yeah.
So the Gaming Commission approved this entity betting, someone to run an account and you're to invest with him with just one sports book.
It was basically, it briefly allowed people to bet a fund.
A fund.
Essentially.
That's right.
Yeah.
Into one line set. With an originator can do.
That was the problem.
An originator can do that and you can win with being an originator. Yeah. But these guys weren't originators. And by the way, there was a couple different ones that were approved by the gaming board. That'll never happen again. So I just read an article about people that were still got scammed by this entity betting thing, and I thought it was interesting. Always a pleasure, and I think we're out next week, right?
Well, I think we might be. Summer of 2012, Joe Pita and I did a little. Not Joe ran something similar to that before entity was a thing. Gotcha. It was a fascinating experience. Bill Krackomberger, everybody. There is no one like him.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.